Well, at least Ash-Greninja versus Mega Sceptile was a really cool battle.
Pokemon! 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 Pokemon!
Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon XY&Z anime discussion. I don't have notes ready or whatever, I'm just going to go ahead and discuss this. I'm way behind. More than anything, I still haven't edited and got editing my previous review and stuff, which you will probably see before this particular video, so it's already up, thankfully, or whatever. But anyway, I just wanted to make this video just so I can review the episode and we can basically move on, and I have another video to make after this. I have a lot of videos to edit. So today, in this particular video, we're going to talk about Ash versus Sawyer, Part 2, Mega Sceptile versus Ash-Greninja. Okay, so I'm not really going to discuss too much about the negatives and what I dislike, other than while I can be perfectly okay with Noivern tying with Salamence, at least maybe I can accept that. I have a huge problem with Goodra drawing with Slurpuff. But before I really get into anything, let me do a quick synopsis. So, first off, we come back and it's, of course, Pikachu versus Aegislash. And Pikachu manages to come around and win by using a piece of wood into Aegislash, making it impossible for it to use Kingsguard or King Shield. So I felt like that was a nice, interesting moment and really cool and kind of like that moment. And then, of course, we run into all these draws, which was not a very happy time for me. And depending on how the battle with Alon goes, I'm probably not going to be happy at all with this league because we're running out of time, and after the league, I very much doubt we are going to get an official battle for these particular Pokemon that are obviously not getting anything in the Pokemon League except draws because of whatever strategy or tactic the writers are using to make it just go away. But one thing I do want to say that I really liked about this particular episode, of course, was Ash-Greninja versus Mega Sceptile. That was pretty much the most epic battle. Of course, Pikachu lost previously to Sceptile. I wasn't really clear on that, but yeah, then it was Greninja, and it was an amazing battle. It was the animation was awesome. The battle in itself, I watched it and I realized how awesome it was. At first, I was a little bitter because of what happened with Goodra and Noivern, but then when I watched it over and over again, and just like the transformation into Ash-Greninja in the first League episode, this entire battle is just entirely enjoyable. I am perfectly fine with just this episode basically being about Greninja battling against the Sceptile. It was that amazing. And it just makes me realize how upsetting it is that Noivern, Goodra, Hawlucha, and Talonflame, they're not going to get their moment of shine. They're not going to get their Mega Sceptile battle that looks really epic and they go all out, move after move, strategy and tactics, just the bond between Ash and his other Pokemon. We are never going to get that, and it's very disappointing. But regardless, it was still amazing, and I don't really hold the Ash-Greninja at fault. I mean, I know a lot of people blame Infernape for Torterra not really doing very much, and Diamond and Pearl, but in this particular instance, I can't blame Ash-Greninja. I just think it's just, it's just tough luck that all the other Pokemon of Ash's just aren't treated well, and Ash-Greninja seems to be the only important Pokemon on Ash's team. And it is a little disappointing that that's what it seems like. So, anyway, of course, the battle ended as the title's already spoiled. Ash won, and Ash is going into the finals for the first time ever in his journey into the league, which is kind of undermined by the fact that how the league turned out to begin with. But hey, first time for everything, I guess. So, of course, we're going to be heading into the finals of Ash versus Alon soon, so hopefully that will be pretty good. There's really not much I can say about anything or whatever. I can say that I am disappointed that Goodra is using Bide as usual, even though we get this really cool, epic scene or whatever, and it reminds me of a YouTube animation series that's on YouTube, but at least the volume 3 season finale of that show, because it was like this giant white beam or whatever, which looked really cool or whatever. So yeah, I mean, this episode really had nice animation or whatever, and a lot of people are in the comments are like, "Isn't that enough?" No, I mean, I would be happy if it was canon. I would be okay with a stick figure battle of Halucha, Noivern, Goodra getting their time of shine, their screen time, their version of Mega Sceptile, even if it was like horribly stick figured and it was canon, I would probably still enjoy it because it's like they got that battle. I guess I could see how the animation of a stick figure Goodra Noivern would be a little disappointing and it wouldn't be as fun to watch or whatever, but as long as it's, say, even if the animation is low quality in regards to the actual battle or the series is what I mean, like the low point in animation of the series, as long as we get an epic battle between a character and one of Ash's non-special Pokemon, I will be happy. But it's whatever. I really can't do anything. I wish I had the ability to do something about it. At least, hey, you know, you writers and producers, you always keep screwing over Ash's Pokemon. I don't know if you do it on purpose to be realistic, even though that makes no sense because it just says that his opponent's Pokemon are just that much stronger, which really doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't care if we get a Slaking with only 1 HP, the Shedinja Slaking or whatever, as long as we get this really cool epic battle with one of Ash's Pokemon, that aren't special. That's the whole entire point of Ash having these Pokemon is so they actually do something that is productive or whatever. So, because you can't do it, I'm going to do it, but I can't do that. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to do that, which is unfortunate. So, I just have to accept whatever I get. Apparently, the writers and producers just can get away with it. They just don't seem to care about Ash's Pokemon overall. They just choose which ones they like, which ones they don't, and be fair to them and be unfair to those that they don't like, and they're gonna just keep doing it because no one cares, and that's upsetting. I mean, why even capture these Pokemon if the writers aren't going to even be remotely fair to them? I mean, look at Halucha. We get a battle against a Mega Absol out of context, and I'm sure the writers and producers will be like, look, Halucha beat a Mega Absol. uh, really? All I saw was Flying Press hitting Mega Absol, and that was it. For all I know, Pikachu was in there using Thunderbolts and Thunder Waves and Zap Cannons and Fire Punches and all kinds of illegal moves that Pikachu can't use or doesn't have, and could have dealt all this damage to Mega Absol and lost to a Night Slash, and Mega Absol only had one hit in it. Ash sent out Halucha and used Flying Press. That that doesn't really help me. That doesn't really say whether or not Halucha really earned that victory. It could have just been a sloppy seconds, basically, and that's kind of it's kind of why I don't bring Talonflame all that much, because yes, it did beat Slacking, so it did get a victory, but unfortunately it was just picking up where Halucha left off, so I'm not entirely sure it's really considered a real win. It's just a gimme win, basically. Well, you're weak, smack, you're gone. Okay, well, I'll just take the win anyway. I mean, it's a win for Talonflame, but it wouldn't be. It would be more fulfilling of a win if Talonflame knocked out Slacking when Slacking was at full health or whatever. But that's just my opinion, and that's all I have to pretty much say about this particular episode. So it was enjoyable to see Ash winning. It was, like I said, I enjoyed the Ash-Greninja versus Mega Sceptile battle. That was amazing. And of course, that's pretty much all we have to say. So there's really not much I want to say about the next episode, really. The preview that we saw Ash talking with his Pokemon. Lysander is going to be in the episode talking about Ash's Greninja, it looks like, because we saw a scene of them kind of looking towards Greninja. We saw a little bit of sneak peek indicating that Alon versus Ash will begin most likely at the end of the episode. So the next two episodes after that will just straight up battling. And of course, the surprising yet expected, because I certainly expected it to happen, Marin is going to show up and meet everyone or whatever. And it was indeed the person or entity that Clement's Chespin ran into Marin after getting lost, and that's what happened. So Marin is indeed, as I speculated, and which obviously made all the sense in the world given that it was a break episode, that Marin would go to the Pokemon League to cheer on Alon with his battle against Ash, because really, if you noticed in this particular episode, Ash versus Sawyer did not have a lot of people cheering him on, basically. Everyone seemed to be kind of rooting for Ash, so. And I'm still disappointed that we're not getting cameos. I'm still upset. I talked about it last episode review, so I don't need to go into it or whatever, but yeah, so yeah, maybe Marin's just here to cheer on Alon, just to say, hey, I want you to do your best, have fun, and everything like that, or whatever. So, but then, of course, we got Ash meeting Marin and everything, so it's really nice that Marin is actually showing up or whatever. So anyway, so I think that's pretty much it. A little bit of Team Flare stuff will happen. Malva will be talking to Alon, I believe, as well as Lysander. Xerosic is supposedly in this episode as well, for the VA list. All of Asher's Pokemon are going to show up, but of course we already saw the preview for that. So yes, I don't really like the fact that we're getting a break episode, but at least it is technically far better than the Axew Lost episode that we got in 5th generation, because at least in this particular episode, we actually are getting Team Flare plot in relation to the conclusion of Team Flare or whatever. I still don't like it that it's in the middle of the league, but I guess it's far more accepting than an entire episode about Chespin being lost and having no real relation in regards to the plot. And I guess technically I cannot argue that, although indirectly I can, but I can't directly argue that this episode took out any battles for Ash to have. I mean, I could say, well, they did rush everything and created this break episode instead of using all that time to give Ash a proper 3 versus 3 battle where Ash's Pokemon could have gotten their proper time to shine or whatever. But I really can't say that, because in the Axew getting lost episode, we actually saw Ash's battle getting screwed over. Scraggy knocked out a Darumaka. That was Scraggy's only battle in the league, and it was basically a one-shot Focus Blast win, if I remember correctly, and that's very disappointing. It's like, that's it? That's all Scraggy gets in the league, is just that Darumaka? But the whole entire Unova League was messed up, so I guess it's to be expected. So, anyway, that's all the time that I have for this particular video. Next week, of course, will be the Break League episode with Marin and Lysander stuff or whatever. So, anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.